The rain-slicked streets of Chicago gleamed under the midnight streetlights as Monty gripped the steering wheel, his heart pounding from the flashing blue and red lights behind him. He pulled over, expecting a routine ticket for speeding, but the officer approached with a stern face that softened into recognition. It was Mark, his high school crush, now a cop, who whispered urgently, "Monty, get in my car. It's not safe here." In that moment, Monty's world tilted, pulling him into a whirlwind of hidden desires and dangerous secrets that would shatter his carefully constructed life. Monty Thompson had always been the golden boy of his conservative family in suburban Illinois. At 28, he was a successful software engineer, engaged to Emily, his college sweetheart, and on track for the American dream. A house in the suburbs, kids, and a white picket fence. But beneath the facade, Monty wrestled with a truth he'd buried deep since adolescence: his attraction to men. It started with fleeting glances in the locker room, evolved into secret online forums, and now manifested as a gnawing emptiness in his engagement. That night, as he drove home from a late work meeting, the pullover changed everything. Mark Reynolds, the officer, was no stranger. They'd gone to the same high school in Naperville, where Mark was the star quarterback and Monty the quiet valedictorian. Back then, Monty had admired Mark from afar, stealing moments in study halls where their eyes would meet, sparking unspoken electricity. Mark had left for the police academy after graduation, while Monty pursued tech in the city. Seeing Mark now, broader and more authoritative in his uniform, stirred those old feelings like a storm. "Monty, is that you?" Mark had said, shining his flashlight into the car. Monty nodded, stammering about his speed. But Mark's expression shifted to concern. "Listen, there's been a string of muggings on this stretch. Your taillight's out, easy target. Hop in. I'll give you a ride home and we can sort this tomorrow." Monty hesitated, but the authority in Mark's voice, mixed with that familiar warmth, compelled him. As they drove in Mark's patrol car, small talk turned personal. Mark confessed he'd thought about Monty over the years, wondering what became of the smart kid who always seemed so alone. By the time they reached Monty's apartment, the conversation had delved into regrets. Mark admitted his life in law enforcement was isolating. The job demanded a tough exterior, hiding his own struggles with identity. "You ever feel like you're living someone else's life?" Mark asked, parking the car. Monty's pulse raced. For the first time, he voiced it aloud. Every day, they exchanged numbers, promising to catch up. As Mark drove off, Monty stood in the rain, feeling exposed yet alive. The next week blurred into secret meetings. Coffee turned into dinners, walks in Grant Park where they'd brush hands accidentally on purpose. Mark opened up about his bisexuality, how he dated women to fit the cop stereotype but craved authenticity. Monty shared his engagement woes. Emily was perfect on paper, but their connection felt platonic. "I'm terrified of hurting her," Monty confessed one evening over burgers at a dive bar. Mark's hand covered his under the table. "Sometimes hurting someone is the price of not hurting yourself forever." Their bond deepened, but so did the risks. Monty's family was deeply religious. His father, a pastor at the local church, preached against deviant lifestyles. Coming out would mean disownment. Mark faced worse. His precinct was rife with homophobia. Outing himself could end his career. Yet the pull was magnetic. One night, after a movie, they shared a kiss in Mark's car, tentative at first, then fervent. It was Monty's first with a man, confirming what he denied for years. Guilt gnawed at Monty. He started avoiding Emily, fabricating work excuses. She noticed, pressing for answers. "Is there someone else?" she asked during a tense dinner. Monty lied, but the deception weighed heavy. Meanwhile, Mark pushed for more commitment. "We can't sneak around forever," he said during a late-night call. Monty agreed, but fear paralyzed him. Then came the first confrontation. Monty's brother, Jake, a hot-headed mechanic, spotted them at a bar. Jake, loyal to family values, cornered Monty later. "What the hell are you doing with that cop? People are talking." Monty denied it, but Jake's suspicion festered. The pressure built, forcing Monty to question his choices. Was this love worth the fallout? As weeks turned to months, their relationship intensified. They stole weekends in Wisconsin cabins, where conversations turned philosophical. Mark shared stories of policing in a divided city, racial tensions, corruption among ranks, that mirrored Monty's internal battles. "Society boxes us in," Mark said, tracing Monty's arm. "But breaking free costs everything." Monty nodded, but doubt lingered. He loved Mark's strength, his vulnerability, but envisioned the scorn from his parents, the loss of his job's conservative clients. One evening, Emily found a text from Mark on Monty's phone. "Miss you already." The explosion was inevitable. "Who is he?" she screamed, tears streaming. Monty broke down, confessing everything. Emily's hurt was palpable. She'd suspected but hoped it was a phase. "I thought we were building a life," she said, packing a bag. Monty begged forgiveness, but she left, vowing to tell his family if he didn't. The betrayal hit hard. Monty confronted Mark, accusing him of pushing too fast. "This is ruining my life," he yelled in Mark's apartment. Mark defended their love. "Hiding ruins it more." They argued, words like weapons, exposing raw fears. Mark revealed his own sacrifices. He turned down a promotion to avoid scrutiny. The fight ended in reconciliation, but scars remained. Jake, true to form, escalated. He followed Monty one night, witnessing an embrace outside Mark's precinct. Furious, Jake stormed their parents' home, outing Monty dramatically. "Your son's a fag, Dad. With a cop." The family dinner turned chaotic. His father, red-faced, quoted Bible verses, disowning him on the spot. His mother wept, caught between love and doctrine. Monty stood firm for the first time. "This is who I am." But walking out, he felt the weight of isolation. Society's backlash followed. Whispers at work led to sidelong glances. A client pulled out, citing moral concerns. Mark faced internal affairs rumors, his captain warning him about distractions. Their love, once a sanctuary, became a battlefield. Monty questioned if the pain was worth it, tempted to retreat into denial. Yet, in quiet moments, they found solace. A walk along Lake Michigan, hands intertwined, reminded them of the joy. "We've paid dearly," Mark said, "but we're free." Monty agreed, but the cost mounted. The turning point came when Jake, regretting his outburst, apologized. "I was scared for you," he admitted over coffee. It was a small bridge, but healing began. Monty's mother reached out secretly, her love overriding prejudice. Still, his father remained steadfast, a chasm unbridged. As they navigated these waters, a greater threat loomed. Mark's job put him in danger. During a routine patrol, he was shot in a gang altercation. Monty rushed to the hospital, outing himself publicly by demanding to see his partner. The media caught wind. "Hero cop's secret romance." Headlines screamed, amplifying societal debate. In the hospital room, Mark weak but alive, they vowed to fight together. "No more hiding," Mark whispered. Monty nodded, ready to pay any price. But freedom's cost was steep. Monty lost friends, faced online harassment. Mark endured precinct taunts, considering resignation. Their love endured, but transformed by trials. Was the pursuit of authentic love worth dismantling a life built on lies? Or does society demand too high a toll for truth? The rain pounded against the windshield as Monty Thompson sped down the empty Chicago highway, his mind a whirlwind of deadlines and unspoken regrets. Blue lights flashed in his rearview mirror, jolting him from his thoughts. He'd been going 75 in a 55 zone. Pulling over, he rolled down the window, heart racing, only to see a familiar face under the uniform cap. Mark Reynolds, his high school crush, now a stern-faced officer who leaned in and said, "Monty, get in my car. This isn't about a ticket." Monty froze, his hands trembling on the wheel. Mark's voice was low, urgent, laced with something deeper than authority. "Trust me," Mark added. glancing around the deserted road as if expecting trouble. Monty stepped out into the downpour, sliding into the passenger seat of the patrol car, the scent of leather and coffee mixing with his confusion. As they drove, Mark explained there'd been reports of carjackings in the area, and Monty's loan vehicle fit the profile. But the conversation quickly veered personal. "It's been years," Mark said, his eyes flicking to Monty. "You look good. Still the brainiac." They talked like no time had passed, reminiscing about high school in Naperville, the football games, the awkward dances where Monty had watched Mark from the sidelines. Mark confessed the force was tough. The camaraderie masked a lot of loneliness. Monty nodded, sharing snippets of his life. The tech job, the fiancé, the pressure to succeed. But he omitted the gnawing doubt, the late-night searches on his phone that confirmed his attractions. Dropping Monty at his apartment, Mark handed him a card. "Call if you need anything, or just to talk." Monty pocketed it, the simple gesture igniting a spark he'd long suppressed. That night, sleep evaded him. Images of Mark's broad shoulders and kind eyes haunted his dreams. The next day, Monty texted Mark, thanking him. It led to coffee, then lunch. Mark opened up about his life, divorced young, no kids, dedicated to the badge. "People see the uniform, not the man," he said over sandwiches. Monty felt seen in a way Emily never made him feel. Their meetings became routine, a secret escape from Monty's scripted life. Emily noticed the changes. Monty's distracted smiles, late returns. "What's going on?" she asked one evening, her voice laced with worry. Monty brushed it off as work stress, but guilt twisted in his gut. He loved Emily's stability, but with Mark, there was fire. One afternoon in a park, Mark's hand brushed Monty's, lingering. "I've thought about you since school," Mark admitted. Monty's breath caught. "Me too." The confession hung heavy, a line crossed. They kissed behind a tree, soft and exploratory, Monty's world exploding in color. But reality intruded. Monty's family dinner that weekend was tense. His father ranted about moral decay in society, quoting news on gay rights. Monty stayed silent, the kiss burning in his memory like a brand. Mark pushed for more. "We can't hide forever," he said during a stolen evening. Monty agreed but feared the fallout. His job in a conservative firm, his family's expectations, everything at risk. Then, the first betrayal. Monty's coworker saw them at a bar, mentioning it casually. Rumors spread. Monty panicked, distancing himself from Mark. "This is too dangerous," he texted. Mark's reply was hurt. "Is that all I am, a risk?" The separation lasted days, Monty miserable. He confessed to Emily about friend troubles, but she sensed more. "If you're unhappy, tell me," she said. Monty couldn't, not yet. Reuniting with Mark, they vowed caution, but passion overrode sense. A weekend trip to a cabin, where talks turned deep, Mark's fears of being outed in the force, Monty's internal war with identity. Returning, Jake, Monty's brother, confronted him. "Saw you with that cop. What's up?" Monty lied, but Jake's eyes narrowed. The tension built, each decision a step toward inevitable collision. Monty stared at his phone, Mark's message glowing. "Need to see you." It had been a week since their cabin escape. A bubble of intimacy burst by reality. He met Mark at a quiet diner on the outskirts of town, the fluorescent lights casting harsh shadows. Mark looked worn, his uniform rumpled from a long shift. "There's talk at the precinct," Mark said, stirring his coffee. "Someone saw us. My captain pulled me aside. Keep your personal life clean." Monty's stomach dropped. "What did you say?" Mark shrugged. "Denied it." "But Monty, this sneaking around, it's killing me." Monty reached across the table, their fingers intertwining briefly. "Me too. But my family. Emily." Mark's eyes hardened. "You have to choose. Us or the lie." The words echoed as Monty drove home. Emily waited, dinner cold. "Late again." Her tone was accusatory. Monty apologized, but she pressed. "Is there someone else?" He hesitated too long. Tears welled in her eyes. A man? Monty, please say no. The truth spilled out in sobs, his feelings, the meetings, the kiss. Emily recoiled, hurt etching her face. How long? Months. She slapped him, the sting deserved. Get out. Monty packed a bag, crashing at a motel. He called Mark, voice breaking. It's over with Emily. Mark arrived, holding him through the night. We'll figure it out, Mark whispered. But dawn brought clarity. The price was mounting. News spread fast. Emily, in pain, told mutual friends. Whispers at work turned to stares. Monty's boss called him in. Personal matters affecting performance? Monty assured him no, but doubt seeded. Worse, Jake ambushed him at the motel. Emily called Mom. What the hell, bro? You're gay. Monty nodded, defiant. Jake punched the wall. Dad's gonna kill you. And with a cop? That's just asking for trouble. Jake stormed off, leaving Monty isolated. Mark faced his own storm. A fellow officer joked about fairy tales in the locker room. Eyes on Mark. He laughed it off, but inside, rage boiled. I could lose everything, he told Monty over phone. Badge, respect gone. Monty empathized, but his own losses piled. Friends ghosting, family silent. A tentative outreach, Monty's mother texted, "Come home. We need to talk." He went, heart pounding. The living room was tense, father absent. Your father's devastated, she said, hugging him. But I love you. It was a crack in the armor, but his father's voice boomed from the study. Not under my roof. Monty left, tears streaming. Society's judgment amplified. Online forums debated gay cops. Mark's name surfacing. He considered quitting, but the job was his identity. What am I without it? He asked Monty during a park walk. Monty had no answer, his own career teetering. Then betrayal deepened. Jake, in a drunken rage, outed them to Mark's precinct anonymously. Chaos ensued. Internal investigation. Mark suspended pending review. How could he? Mark yelled at Monty. Your own brother. Monty confronted Jake. You ruined us. Jake sneered. You ruined yourself. The fight with Mark escalated. This is your family's fault. Mark accused. Monty defended them. They're scared. Words flew, ending in slammed doors. Alone, Monty questioned everything. Was love worth this destruction? Reconciliation came slowly. Mark apologized, admitting fear. They recommitted, but warily. Monty sought therapy, unpacking years of repression. Sessions revealed his choice's roots, pleasing others over self. As they healed, external pressures mounted. Protests in Chicago over police reform highlighted homophobia in forces. Mark joined quietly, advocating change. Monty supported, attending rallies, facing counter-protesters' slurs. A glimmer, Emily reached out, forgiving. I want you happy, she said over coffee. It eased some guilt, but the high cost lingered. Monty lost a promotion. Mark fought reinstatement. Their love, forged in fire, strengthened. But at what price? Mark's suspension dragged on, weeks turning to a month. He paced his small apartment, badge on the table like a relic. Monty visited daily, bringing takeout and encouragement. You'll get through this, Monty said, massaging Mark's shoulders. But Mark's eyes were distant. What if I don't want back? The force is toxic. Monty paused. Mark without the uniform? It shifted their dynamic. Meanwhile, Monty's work suffered. Clients whispered about his lifestyle. One major account pulling out. His boss sympathized but warned, shape up. Monty buried himself in code, but creativity waned under stress. Family fractures deepened. His mother mediated, inviting Monty for secret lunches. Your father prays for you, she said. Monty scoffed. Praise me straight. She teared up. He loves you, but doctrine blinds him. Monty yearned for acceptance, but pride held him back. Jake's remorse surfaced. He showed up at Monty's new rental, beer in hand. I screwed up, Jake admitted. Seeing you with him, it freaked me out. Monty listened, anger softening. Why? Jake shrugged. Grew up thinking it was wrong. But you're my brother. They hugged awkwardly, a step toward mending. Society's mirror was harsher. News outlets covered Mark's case vaguely. Officer in scandal. Comments sections erupted with hate. Mark read them obsessively, spiraling. They see us as freaks, he muttered. Monty countered. We're not alone. He introduced Mark to LGBTQ support groups, where stories of resilience inspired. One night, at a group meeting, a veteran cop shared his coming-out journey. Losses, but ultimate freedom. Mark gripped Monty's hand, inspired. Maybe I can fight from inside, he said later. But challenges persisted. Mark's hearing approached. Evidence of the anonymous tip pointed to Jake, but Mark refused to press charges. Family's sacred, he told Monty. Monty admired it, but resented Jake's escape. The hearing was grueling. Mark testified honestly. My personal life doesn't affect my duty. Supporters rallied outside. Signs reading, "Love is not a crime." Monty watched, proud yet terrified. The board cleared him, but with probation. Relief washed over, but the stigma remained. Post-hearing, they celebrated quietly. To us, Mark toasted. But joy was short-lived. Monty's father called unexpectedly. Meet me. At a neutral cafe, his father sat rigid. This choice disgusts me, Monty challenged. It's not a choice. Debate ensued, Bible versus science. His father left unmoved, but planted a seed. Think about your soul. The encounter shook Monty. He confided in Mark. What if he's right? Mark held him. Doubt's part of it. But our love feels right. They made love gently, reaffirming bonds without explicit detail. External threats escalated. A former client harassed Monty online, doxing him. Mark used connections to shut it down, but privacy shattered. We're targets now, Monty said. In response, they went public subtly, attending pride events, holding hands in daylight. Backlash came. Mark's car vandalized. Monty's emails flooded with threats. Fear crept in, but so did defiance. Jake stepped up, defending Monty to friends. My brother's brave, he boasted. It warmed Monty, bridging gaps. As summer faded, a crisis hit. Mark responded to a domestic call, intervening in a hate crime against a gay couple. Shots fired. Mark wounded in the arm. Hospital rush. Monty by his side, outing them fully as he demanded entry as partner. Media frenzy. Hero cops gay romance. Interviews requested. Opinions divided. Some praised bravery. Others condemned agenda pushing. In recovery, Mark reflected. This bullet was the price. Monty nodded, realizing their journey's toll. Relationships severed. Careers jeopardized. But authenticity gained. Healing physically, Mark returned to duty lighter. Monty freelanced, escaping corporate chains. Yet, questions lingered. Was the pain justified? The hospital discharge marked a new chapter, but scars, literal and metaphorical, reminded them daily. Mark's arm in a sling. He leaned on Monty more, vulnerability strengthening their bond. You saved me, Mark said, not meaning the shooting. Monty smiled. We save each other. Publicity brought mixed blessings. Support letters poured in. A local LGBTQ center honored Mark as a role model. But hate mail countered, venomous words testing resolve. Monty's therapy intensified, unpacking trauma. You're grieving the old you, his counselor said. Monty agreed, mourning the simplicity of denial. Family dynamics shifted. His mother visited openly, bringing casseroles. I'm proud, she whispered. His father remained distant, but sent a card, praying. It was progress, albeit slow. Jake became an ally, joining them for dinners. Didn't expect this, he joked, clinking beers. But underlying tension, Jake's past betrayal lingered. Forgive me, Jake asked one night. Monty did, but trust rebuilt gradually. Society's gaze intensified. Mark's precinct implemented sensitivity training, partly due to his case. He led sessions, sharing experiences. Change starts small, he told Monty. Monty volunteered too, speaking at schools about acceptance. Empowerment grew, but exhaustion followed. A major decision loomed: marriage. Mark proposed casually over breakfast. "Marry me?" Monty choked on coffee. "Now?" Mark grinned. "Why wait? We've paid enough." Monty hesitated. Family reactions, public scrutiny. But love won. Yes. Planning was discreet, but word leaked. Emily, now a friend, offered congratulations. "You deserve happiness." Closed a chapter. The wedding approached amid controversy. Protesters picketed the venue, signs decrying sin. Inside, supporters outnumbered. Jake walked Monty down the aisle. His mother beamed. His father absent, a void felt keenly. Vows exchanged. Through trials and triumphs. Rings slipped on, a kiss sealing it. Applause erupted, but outside, chaos, media swarming, questions flying. Honeymoon in Hawaii provided respite. Beaches, sunsets, conversations deep. "Regrets?" Monty asked. Mark shook head. "None." "You?" Monty pondered. Lost family ties, career hits. The price was high, but worth it. Returning reality bit. Mark's promotion denied due to distractions. He considered leaving law enforcement for advocacy. Monty supported. Follow your heart. Betrayal struck again. A colleague leaked private photos, sparking scandal. Investigations cleared them, but damage done. Trust in the force eroded. Mark resigned. Jobless, Mark struggled. "Who am I now?" Monty reassured. "Mine." They leaned on community. Mark starting a nonprofit for LGBTQ officers. Monty's business boomed with progressive clients, balancing losses. But internal conflicts resurfaced. Monty dreamed of his father's disapproval, waking in sweats. "Am I damned?" he confided. Mark comforted. "Love isn't sin." A family reunion tested. Invited tentatively, they attended. His father cornered Monty. "This path leads to ruin." Debate raged, ending in stalemate. But his father hugged him goodbye, a first. Society evolved slowly. Laws passed protecting rights, but backlash persisted. They marched in parades, faces painted, symbols of resilience. Through it all, their love endured, tempered by fire. Decisions costs, betrayals forgiven, damages repaired, shaped them. Yet, in quiet moments, Monty wondered, did they choose right? Mark's nonprofit took off, speaking engagements filling his calendar. "This is my calling," he told Monty, eyes alight. Monty beamed, his own freelance work stabilizing. But success bred envy. A rival organization accused Mark of exploiting his story, media digging into their past. Scrutiny reopened wounds. Old high school acquaintances resurfaced, sharing memories laced with judgment. Monty ignored most, but one stung. A former friend claiming Monty recruited Mark. Lies spread online, trolls amplifying. They countered with truth, interviews emphasizing love over sensationalism. "We're just two people," Monty said on a podcast. Listeners resonated, donations surging. Family healing continued. His mother hosted dinners, including Mark. Laughter flowed, barriers crumbling. Jake brought his girlfriend, normalizing the group. His father attended once, silent but present. "Small wins," Monty noted. But Mouthwan Dao Duc arose. Mark's work exposed police corruption, straining old loyalties. "Betraying brothers in blue?" a former colleague accused. Mark stood firm. Justice over silence. The choice cost friendships, isolating him. Monty faced his own dilemma. A lucrative contract required relocating to a less accepting state. "Better pay, but riskier," he told Mark. They debated stability versus safety. "Stay true," Mark advised. Monty declined, prioritizing their well-being. Damage from decisions accumulated. Health suffered, stress-induced migraines for Monty, lingering pain for Mark. Therapy helped, but the toll was evident. A Took 10 moment. attending a funeral for a closeted friend who died alone. We can't go back, Monty realized. It reaffirmed their path, despite costs. Society's shifts aided. Supreme Court rulings bolstered rights, but local battles raged. They lobbied, testifying in hearings. Our story matters, Mark said. Personal growth bloomed. Monty wrote a memoir draft, cathartic. Mark mentored youth, preventing his pains in others. Yet, fan BOI lurked. Jake, under pressure from old friends, distanced briefly. It's hard, he confessed. Monty understood, forgiving again. High Treo built, a death threat against Mark. Police protection ensued, fear gripping them. Is this the price? Monty asked. Mark nodded. For change, yes. Investigation revealed a disgruntled ex-cop. Arrest made, but paranoia lingered. In aftermath, they recommitted. No regrets, Mark vowed. As years hinted, their life stabilized. Community embraced. Love deepened. But the journey's scars prompted reflection. Was authenticity's pursuit moral or selfish? Stability brought routine, but echoes of turmoil persisted. Mark's nonprofit expanded, hiring staff. Monty's book, published anonymously at first, gaining traction. Reviews praised its raw honesty on identity struggles. Public speaking became joint, panels on LGBTQ rights in law enforcement. Audiences applauded, but Q&A sessions revealed divides. How do you reconcile faith and sexuality? One asked. Monty shared his father's rift, Mark his resilience. Family reconciliation peaked. His father, after a health scare, called. I miss my son. They met, tears flowing. I was wrong, his father admitted. Not full acceptance, but enough. Holidays included Mark, awkward but genuine. Jake married, Monty best man. Thanks for showing me love's forms, Jake toasted. Society progressed, hate crimes declined locally, thanks partly to their advocacy. But global backslides reminded vigilance. Personal costs reviewed. Emily remarried happily. Monty sent well wishes. Lost jobs led to better paths. In quiet evenings, they reflected. We traded security for truth, Monty said. Mark agreed. And won. Their story inspired others. A young cop came out crediting Mark. Yet, doubts surfaced. Did we hurt too many? Monty pondered after a heated debate. The narrative closed on a high note. Love triumphant amid scars. Was sacrificing familial bonds and career stability for personal authenticity a righteous choice, or an act of self-indulgence that unfairly burdens others?